Hi, and thanks for choosing Planet Rentals for your next outdoor adventure. First off, we're going to go over some general trailer information that is pertinent to all of our different camping trailers, and then we'll go specifically over the camping trailer that you have reserved. First of all, when you come for your reservation, make sure you plan enough time to get paperwork filled out and the trailer hooked up. When appointments are rushed, we always find that then, some information is skipped over, or, we're not as thorough as we'd like to be. So make sure you plan plenty of time for your pickup appointment. Secondly, make sure that you have your driver's license and the insurance card for the vehicle that will be towing our trailer available and ready for us. We'll need copies of those along with the contract that you sign. Now, it's important that you know what type of site you're going to with the trailer. Many sites have water, power, and sewer hookups, and many sites have none of that at all. And how the trailer works and operates is quite dependent on that. And so you'll want to know those differences before you head out there. And then I wanted to go over some general driving tips for you. When you're towing a trailer, it's always very important to drive at a very slow and safe speed. It's just not worth pushing. Plan some extra time in your trip so that you have plenty of time to get where you're going. It's easier on our trailer and easier on your tow vehicle if you just take it easy. Secondly, because you'll be a longer rig, you need to make sure that you're careful when you're cornering. You need to take corners a little bit wider and plan for that sort of thing. It's always smart to know exactly where you're going, have good directions, or have driven there before, because it's hard to make evasive maneuvers or U-turns and that sort of thing when you have a trailer in tow. And then whenever you're backing up the trailer, make sure that you have someone there helping you back up to help you make sure you don't, of course, run into any obstacles and that sort of thing. And then when you're setting up the trailer, you want to make sure that you're being careful of anything that's overhead on the trailer or around the sides of it. Many of our trailers have slide outs or pop downs and that sort of thing that extend from the side of the trailer. So before you get it all set up, you want to make sure there's plenty of clearance all around the trailer. And then also, we want you to really treat our trailers well. We have what we feel the best trailers and the best pricing out there of any RV dealer. And a big part of that is because we really feel like we have the best renters. So we do put some responsibility on you to make sure you take care of our units. We suggest taking your shoes off when you go inside the trailer. That really just helps with cleanup. It helps maintain the floor and the furniture, all that sort of thing. We suggest that you try not to take the trailer off-road. We suggest that you keep it nice and swept and clean. And then, help with eliminating horseplay and other rough activities that may happen in or outside the trailer, just to help, keep it nicer and cleaner for those that come after you. And then also wanted to note that all of our trailers have a spare tire on them, of course, but that spare tire is not intended for long distance driving. That spare tire is intended to get you somewhere to get a tire repaired and replaced so that you can continue on with your trip. So please don't plan on using the spare tire to drive any extended distance if something were to happen to one of the original tires on the trailer. We of course keep all those tires in great working condition for you. Now we'll go over the general hookup of the trailer to the tow vehicle here. So the first thing we're going to do is lower the trailer down onto the ball of the vehicle. And then every trailer comes with a safety pin. This is what's going to ensure that the trailer is locked on to the truck securely. If the pin goes through, you've got it set up correctly and it can't come undone from the ball of the vehicle. Next we have the safety chains, and they have hooks that clip onto the security hole on the vehicle. I like to cross the chains once or twice, with one going this way and the other one going this direction. Next is the hookup for the lights on the trailer. All of our trailers have this 7-pin RV connection, and so you need to make sure your vehicle can accommodate that type of plug. And then lastly is the breakaway cable for the trailer. What this does is if the trailer were to come unhooked from the vehicle somehow, this cable will pull and activate the brakes on the trailer so that it doesn't keep rolling away. Alright, and then if you're using one of our equalizer hitches, you'll want to lower the trailer down onto the ball of the tow vehicle, just enough to get that pin locked in, and then you want to swing the arms up onto the side of the trailer and lock those in. Then lower the rest of the trailer weight down onto the tow vehicle. What that does is help transfer some of the weight of the trailer up to the front tires of the tow vehicle for cornering and braking, and it also helps with sway control as you're driving down the road. Now be mindful of the things that you put inside the trailer. If you're using one of our equalizer hitches, make sure that does not go inside the trailer on the linoleum. We've had quite a few trailers damaged that way, as well as generators and other rough equipment like bikes and things like that. Please be careful with the flooring of our trailers. All right, once you arrive at your campsite, the first thing you're going to need to do is level the trailer. So with the level that's provided with the trailer, you'll want to check for side-to-side levelness using the back bumper of the trailer. So you just put that on there, and then depending on which side is high or low, you'll raise that side up using the tires of the trailer and the blocks that we provide. With these blocks, you'll tuck them up underneath the trailer tire and back up onto them. If you needed to go even higher, you can build a little ramp using these blocks. Go even too high here. Once you back up onto the blocks, then you check your levelness again and make sure you're nice and level. And then once your vehicle's level side to side, you want to chalk the tires using the included chocks. Just one on each side of the tire. Tuck them in nice and firm, and then the same on the other side of the trailer on one of the tires. Okay, now that you're level side to side and the tires are chalked on the trailer really well, it's now time to unhook it from your tow vehicle and check levelness front to back. To check that levelness, you can just place the level here on the front A-frame of the trailer, and then you're going to use the tongue jack, raised or lowered, in order to level the trailer front to back. Now you can drop the stabilizers that are on the trailer. There's a provided crank that you connect here. You just attach it to the end. And just crank those stabilizers down until they're on the ground. Once they touch the ground, I usually do another 2 cranks to support a little bit of the weight of the trailer, but you don't support much of the weight. In fact, these stabilizers are not used to level the trailer whatsoever. They're just used to help eliminate some of the rocking motion of the trailer when you're walking around inside. Now when your trip's over and it's time to hook up and leave, you're going to do all of those steps we went over just in reverse. So first you're going to raise those stabilizer jacks that we lowered. Then you're going to hook up to the vehicle and of course raise the tongue jack all the way. Then remove the chocks that are on the tires on both sides of the trailer. Then pull the trailer off of any leveling blocks side to side, and you're good to go. Now we're going to go over the setup of our Flagstaff tent trailer. This trailer features one propane tank on the front. When you get to your site, you're going to want to open up that propane tank, which you do just by turning the knob on the top. And then this trailer also has one battery on the front. There's really nothing to do with the battery here, but the battery will charge if you have power at your site or a generator, and we'll show you where the power cord on the trailer is to plug in to do that. Right here near the front of the trailer on the driver's side is the city water connection for the water. Now this is if you have full-time water hookups at your site. You can take a garden hose, and the garden hose actually just screws right onto the side of the trailer. And the other end would go to the water spigot that's at your campsite. Now we include a pressure regulator with the hose that would go between the water spigot and the hose to regulate the amount of water pressure that goes through the hose and into the trailer, just so that it doesn't exceed the capacity there. So this end would screw right onto the spigot before your hose. Next to that city water connection is the drain for the sink. So when you get to your campsite, you would just open up this drain, and any water that you use at the sink will just go right out on the ground. And that's normal for all tent trailers. You can just set that cap aside until you're done with your trip. Located right past the service access for the fridge is the hot air exhaust for the heater in the trailer. I just mentioned that because you want to be careful of the surroundings there, make sure nothing is in the way of it, and make sure that kids or others don't touch that where they could possibly get burned. Right back over here is our access to ignite and light the fridge. Now this trailer can run the fridge off of propane or off electric power, and here we have taped off battery power to run the fridge. Now to light the fridge and have it run off of propane, you would turn this dial here over to the high setting, and while holding it in, you would strike the sparker behind it 4 or 5 times quite rapidly. Then hold it down for another 5 or 10 seconds, and then you can release. Next to it is the dial to turn on if you wanted to run the fridge off of plug-in power. You would just flip the switch up, and that's really all there is there. Now we ask that you don't ever use the fridge off battery power. It just drains your battery really quick and there's just really no point to run it there, so we have that switch taped off. Now you have a temperature setting for the fridge back here in the back that you can adjust, and then you just need to be mindful that you don't have two sources running at the same time. So if you're running it off plug-in power, make sure propane's off and vice versa. Now over here in the back corner is a viewer window to see the pilot light if you're running the fridge off of propane. Once you click that sparker a few times, you can then open that window up, look down there and see that the pilot is lit. Right here halfway back the trailer is where you would fill the trailer with water if you don't have full-time water hookups at your site. You would just, set a hose here into the water inlet until it bubbles back out at you, at which point you know that it's full. Now, this water will go into a water tank that's underneath the trailer. And in order to pump that up to the faucet in the trailer, you'd have to run the water pump, and that's located inside the trailer. But just so you know the difference, if you use the city water connection, you don't need the pump because the lines are already pressurized. If you fill the water tank, you will need the pump because you have to pump it up to the faucet. Now, located right next to that is the storage area for the power cord on the trailer. Now, plugging this into an outlet or a generator would charge the battery as well as run the lights and the appliances inside the trailer. We include an adapter that adapts it down to a regular outlet, or if you remove it, many of the hookup sites have this 30 amp plug configuration, so either way you're set there. Now, a very important thing that you need to remember before you start to raise the roof is to ensure that all 4 buckles on the corners of the trailer are released. Unfortunately, the buckles tend to be stronger than the cabling system and the mechanism that raises the roof, and so breaking that cabling system becomes a very expensive and costly repair. So to unbuckle it, you just pull the buckle down and then repeat on all 4 corners. Once you've ensured that all 4 buckles are undone, to raise the roof, you just simply raise the switch here in the up position and that roof will go up. Now, as you press the switch and raise the roof, if you watch to the passenger side corner, you'll see a green cable. That green cable indicates the top of the roof as it tightens out. Now, you want to be very careful that you don't over crank the roof up, and so you watch that cable very closely. So now we can see that that green cable has a little bit of slack, but is nice and tight. We're now ready to pull the beds out, and you do that pulling on the black loop here. But it's important to note that you don't want any weight to be on those beds until you have the support poles underneath, which we'll show you in a minute. Then you can grab the corners of the fabric here and make sure they're tucked out over the edge of the bed. Now there's 4 black support poles for the bed. There's 2 shorter ones that go and support the front bed. The 2 longer ones are for the back bed. Each of the poles has a round end that's going to go to the frame of the trailer and a flat end that's going to go up underneath the bed. So you just stick the round end here in the A-frame on the circle, and then just kind of lift up the bed and snap the bracket down. Now you just repeat on the other side. Now that the beds are set up, there's 2 roof support brackets that you want to put in place. You'll notice there's a pointy end on one end, and that pointy end's going to go over the bracket here on the roof. And you just slide the pointy end up and then lock in the bottom. The second bracket's going to go on the opposite corner, kitty corner, from this bracket you've put in place. And you can do either kitty corner, but it's going to go in place there, the same as this one did here. To pull this step out, you're just going to grab in the middle and pull right out. You want to make sure it's nice and flat and stored away when you travel, and you do that just in reverse. Now this half door here is just a travel door, so you actually can just open it up and take it right off its hinges here. And there's a set of hinges underneath the back bed that you can just clip it into and store away the door there. And then we'll show you how to put the full door in place. Now the full door is up here buckled to the roof. And first you'll see a wing nut here on this top side that you'll want to get released from the bracket. Then you come down to this side and there's a couple snaps that you just want to release. Now the bottom of the door comes down. while the top of the door follows a track all the way down and around. Now as the door comes into place, you'll see here at the top there's a couple little wing nuts that hold the top of the door just to the frame of the trailer. And then you'll want to Velcro both edges of the door inside and out all the way down. And here at the bottom of the door, you'll see these little wing nuts that need to hold the door into place on the frame of the trailer. Now the door actually goes to the outside of this frame as you bring it down. Now to lift the sink and the stove up into place, you just grab the handle here and lift straight up and onto this cabinet. Once the sink's in place, it'll activate the lights and the electronics inside the trailer. Now just to the left side of the stove and around the corner is the thermostat for the heater in the trailer. You'll see the lever here at the top. It's going to go and push to the left to the desired level of heat that you want inside the trailer, and then the heater will kick on and off automatically to maintain that temperature. Now when you're not using the heater, if you ever leave the trailer, make sure that lever is pushed all the way to the left and a click to off. The stove works off of propane. You can lift the cover up, and then to light the burner, you would just turn this knob here to the light and then spark with a lighter. Now to complete the setup of the beds, there's this white L-shaped bar that's going to connect to the bar that's here laying on the mattress of the bed. You're just going to connect this round end here onto the middle of the bar, push it up and out, and then this top part here is going to connect onto the ceiling. Like that. Then you just repeat on the back side, noting that the pole for the back bed is shorter than the pole for the front bed. Now this trailer features heated mattresses, so you'll see one end is kind of an end that would clip into the mattress, and the other would just plug into an outlet in the trailer. So you would need power hookups or a generator to run that heated mattress. It then has a dial on the side to adjust the temperature. Now this is your dinette that's currently in bed mode, and that has to be that way in order for the trailer to be collapsed down and the beds to come across here. But to set it up as a dinette, you just grab your backrest cushions here and place them back over the seat cushions. Then your table here just lifts up, and there's a strap here to unbuckle the straps for the legs. And they're just going to open up and lock open as a table. Now located right above the carbon monoxide detector and in the middle of the dinette is the pump switch. This again is the pump that will pump the water from underneath the trailer in the freshwater tank up to your kitchen sink. And you would just flip it on, and then the pump would run to pressurize the lines in the trailer. Once those are pressurized, the pump will kick off. Now we want to make sure that when you're not using any water in the trailer, and if you leave the trailer, that pump is off. Just turn it on when you need the water. Now we do provide a user manual and a cleaning checklist with the trailer. If you had any questions, it'd be good to look there in the manual. And then the cleaning checklist is good because it gives you a list of items of things to go over and clean. General rule of thumb is to bring the trailer back as clean as when you took it. And then we also suggest a few things like kicking your shoes off when you come inside the trailer, keeping the floor swept up. It just helps with your cleaning at the end, as well as the wear and tear on the floor of our trailer and the furniture. Once you've removed the roof security bracket and the supports for the bed, and double check that everything is at the bed level and below, you're ready to push your beds in on the trailer. So I usually push the beds in half the way, pull all the fabric out, and then continue pushing the bed in. Never force the bed in. If it's running into something inside the trailer, you don't want to keep pushing the bed against that. Now it's time to crank the roof down. What I do is crank the roof down about 80 or 90% of the way, and then go around the trailer and stuff all the canvas back in before you lower the rest of the way. Now when you finish cranking down, once you see the roof stop moving, you need to release the switch. You don't want to over crank it going down, just like you don't want to over crank it when you're raising the roof. At this point, any gap that's left can be pushed down manually as you buckle the trailer up. Thanks again for choosing Planet Rentals for your next camping trip. We hope you really enjoy our trailers and that you have a great time.